or sit together. Hello. Okay. Is this good? Okay. So, Meg and I, we decided to leave, and we put, we went, had this idea to set up like we have the table in a hallway at school, at our college, and we're like, why don't we put up a table there and, well, the table's there. Sorry, sit there and just do like an encouraging table together basically and like prophesy over people, but like call it as an encouraging table because like everybody is so stressed out with like the semester almost coming to an end and all this stuff, so we wanted to do something like that but also like speak the voice of God like into people's lives. And so we went for it. Meg bought some donuts with her, which was great. So we had some donuts over there, and we wrote a cute little sign that said "Tough Week," and then we wrote "Grab a donut." And so the first person that came up, she's like, "What's the catch? What do I have to do?" We're like, "Nothing. Just get a, yeah." Like, what club are you with? What are you doing this with? We're like, "Nothing. Like, we just wanted to do something nice, just because like people are having rough weeks. We wanted to give encouraging words and like have donuts for you guys." And so after the first person left, we like got to talk with one girl and like gave her a little like I had little bookmark things there, and then just prophesied over. I started and then Meg joined as well and said something, and the girl's like, "Oh my goodness, it's so incredible." Do you want to share some more?
Um, after I guess after we were done, I kind of was thinking about like what everyone had said, and the main thing that happened was people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so nice of you. I can't believe that you're sitting here doing this. Like there's you just have no agenda. You're just giving us donuts and like saying hi to people." And I was like why wouldn't we? Like it was just so normal for me cuz I'm just surrounded by nice people, but I'm like there must be horrible people in the world. And the fact that we were just giving donuts made these people so happy. It I don't it just yeah, it just really boggled my mind. So
And a couple of the girls, they were like, we shared like the words that we got. I drew little pictures that were like really fast and like sloppy or whatever, but I gave them the pictures and like told them what I heard God say about them. And one of the girls, she's like, "I'm gonna start crying." Like what? They came over and gave hugs. So it's really cool to see that for the first time, and I think it would be fun to do it again. So we'll see.
Awesome. Who knew? Donuts could share the love of God. All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, Natalie. Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes, if nobody have a testimony. Yeah. W- you finishing what you need to do. I'm just sharing testimony for 2 minutes, maybe less. So as girls were sharing about, just share some kindness, and we know we're teaching how to hear God's voice. We're going every day. So I was a couple days ago. I was staying, just went to buy my coffee and staying, and I hear God is saying like, "You buying for the next person." I'm like, "Oh no." And I look at the next person. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy for next person. And then I see that his wife is coming, and then they're not buying coffee. They're buying the whole thing. Like she wants this sandwich, he wants this sandwich. I'm like, okay, God, I just came for one cup of coffee. Yes, you never thought about this. Yes, you always say yes to God. You look at me like, come on. So, and I came, I ordered my coffee, and he was staying like next to me, and I kind of like turned my back to him, and I say to the whatever her cashier. I said, "I'm paying for them." She's like, "Okay, you got it." So I went out and he ordered the whole thing and take the money. And she's like, "Sorry, you can't pay. This lady already paying for you." And he started laughing. He's like, "Oh my goodness, you made my day. Thank you so much. It's so nice." So like he's like, "I just did it a week ago to someone in the IHOP." He's like, "This is so cool." So this is like I want to encourage you more and more because kindness is coming back, and to the like you do the just buy a cup of coffee, do something kind to someone, and you will see, as Inessa was sharing, just giving donuts with nothing attached. They just want to just say kind words, and you will see what's going to happen. We all going out to coffee shops or somewhere else. Push yourself out of comfort zone. To look at the cashier or somebody else, give some compliments, say something nice, because people so need it. They're so hungry for that. Inessa can tell you, she works in a coffee shop, and when you just say something nice, it makes the big difference in the world. So that's good. What do we?
All right, so I just want to close the testimony time with a prayer. Lord God, thank you so much. We just ask you to bless every woman here who heard that, Lord. And right now, I just bless every one of us with bravery and courage and the knowledge of who we are, that we are your chosen ones, that we are your children, God, and we have the authority to go out and love on people, which is what you've called us to. So I bless everyone here with an extraordinary love, the love of the Lord for others. Lord, fill us with compassion for others, and fill us with faith, Lord, faith for healings, faith for sharing our testimony, and faith for loving others. And we just praise you for what you did today. And God, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're clearly here with us, and we thank you for joining us. In Jesus' name, amen. So, who is next? Is that Sue? Anessa. Anessa, where are you? Yeah. Let's do this. Nike swish. Just do it.
So today it's a different things. We're not gonna share with you about bra or something else. Just this time. Hold on. Wait. We have some boys here, so we're gonna share different things that is really important, and you're gonna use it. If you're gonna, she's gonna share a lot of things today.
Go very fast. These are just a few hacks that'll really help you do the jobs at home really easy and simply. I brought a whole bunch of crazy stuff, but this is vinegar and water, and I smeared chicken grease, because that's what we had for dinner tonight, on the mirror. And you just spray. Now my girlfriend, I've done this before, but my girlfriend gave me the actual hands-on. She did this, and it was like, there we go. No, one more time. Whoop. Now I'm going to have vinegar all over me. Okay, so vinegar and water makes a good, clean mirror. Okay, it's good for surfaces, hard surfaces. It's a good disinfectant. That's just one of the things. Then I have, in the wintertime for your windshield, 2/3 of a cup of vinegar and 1/3 of a cup of water. You spray your windshield, it'll melt the ice right off your windshield in the wintertime. I have some copies if you want them. Gum out of your clothes or a rug. Boil vinegar and pour it on the gum. Use a brush to wipe it away, and the gum is gone.
Can you give me 1 second? On that note, she didn't share with me months ago about this. We were flying to Minnesota, and I was sitting in the middle seat. I changed the seat with my dad. It was his seat in the middle, so I gave him my aisle seat. I sit there. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I sit down, buckle up, fall asleep, wake up, unbuckle, start to move, and I see all of my black dress was in a gum all over me. Somebody put the gum on the seatbelt, the chewed gum on the other side. It was gross, and I was like, Dad, this is supposed to be you. But he was wearing his jacket that he's supposed to be wearing on the wedding, so I saved his jacket. But I was like, it was beautiful. It was like here, there, all over. So, and I didn't know what to, it's gum, it's black dress and everything else. So when you're gonna fly somewhere, check the seatbelts just in case. I never checked before, but I will. And I came home and I found that, and it actually works perfect. Boiled vinegar, I put it there, and I brush it, and it's all gone and no stain. So it actually works. Oh, there you go. I was planning to talk about this, but she already covered it. Sorry.
Right, but the brush with the boiled vinegar, it just comes right off. You want to hold that again for me? The next thing I have is annoying barcodes. If you have a barcode on your glass, a rag with solid vinegar will take off that barcode and the goo that's underneath the barcode. Let's see. Next, they have hydrogen peroxide. It's useful around the house. Use it to clean your makeup brushes. Instead of throwing them away when they look like they've just had it, clean your makeup brushes. Hydrogen peroxide is also a good disinfectant. You can spray it. You can spray it on your sink, your bathroom, all around. My daughter uses alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and she sprays it on the carpets and the couches. Her son has very severe allergies, and his pulmonologist recommended rubbing alcohol in a mist bottle, and you spray it over things, and then you vacuum. No more allergies. I thought that was really very important. It's also, oh, I did that. Hydrogen peroxide is also good to take stains out of white fabrics. I have a little kiss handkerchief, but I'm not going to take the time to do all that. Hydrogen peroxide is also good as a toilet bowl cleaner. Half a cup in your toilet, you wait 3 to 5 minutes, take your sponge, the rings, the stains, everything gone. And I'm going to start using that in my company because it really makes a difference. And speaking of toilets, if you don't have a plunger, pour hot water, a pot of hot water, with a half a cup of salt in the toilet bowl, and that should, you wait 5 to 10 minutes, and that should solve your problem most of the time, unless it's a bigger problem. But that should, yeah, if it's in the plumbing, but it will break up a clog. Did you know that toothpaste has a lot of handy things around the house, like cleaning jewelry? But this is my favorite. I have a silver set. Antique, I know most people don't do silver sets anymore. But I do, and I love my silver set, and every now and then I'll have company and I take it out. Well, if you use toothpaste on your silver, it has to be paste. It can't be gel. It can't be the whiteners, all of that. So anyway, you just rub that in. You get it smoothed around. You wipe, oh, I'm getting it all over me. And it smells good, too. Okay, they recommend you wash it off, but your silver will be completely clean. So if you've got, candlesticks, I have a whole 6-piece set plus the tray. And it's really expensive to get, the silver polish. And a couple more things I have. Toothpaste. If all of us, we hang our pictures. Yes. I don't know about you, but I never get it right the first time. Sometimes not the second time. If you take toothpaste and you put it in and you smear it with your hand and you cover it over, you cannot see toothpaste in a hole. Okay? It hides the hole. Let it dry. Do it again, let it dry. If you're going to paint, make sure it's completely dry. You can paint over the hole. You never made a hole. Your husband will never know. I didn't put holes in the walls. Just a couple more things. Toothpaste can also, that's the pictures. If you have a problem with spiders or mice, they say take 3 to 4 drops of tea tree oil, and you put it in a spray bottle, and you spray all your windowsills and all your doorways, or take fabric, spray the fabric, and put it around in your garage. No mice, no spiders. They can't stand it, and it really keeps them out of your house. I've been trying all this stuff. And most of us know the vase. Well, if you drop a penny with a pinch of sugar in your vase instead of just the packet, a penny and a pinch of sugar, they'll last at least a week longer. Oh, look at me. Oh, boy. I'm a mess. And if you want to refresh your pillows, throw them in a dryer with some tennis balls, and that'll fluff them right up. You don't have to wash them. You just fluff them right up with the tennis balls. Baking soda and water paste will remove a splinter. If you've got a stubborn splinter, make a paste of baking soda and water, and it'll pull the splinter out. And last but not least, this is my husband's favorite because he's Mr. Economy. Everything's got to be save money, save money. If you're defrosting your meat or something for dinner, defrost it in the refrigerator, and your refrigerator will not run, and that saves you energy. And there's my little tips for the day.
That's amazing. Only last 5 minutes, I learned so much.
There are sheets up here with all this information.
Yes, you can grab one. It's very good. Thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing this. And it's interesting because I have a couple things to share, and she brought everything that I was going to be sharing about baking soda and vinegar. And another tip, I found it's amazing. It helped me a lot. If you, especially during the summer when you have pool towels or any bath towels, they have this funky smell when sometimes it smells awful. I can't stand that. And I started to look, I always use the bleach, but then it smells more awful. So, and I find the way, so if you're gonna wash it with 1 cup of vinegar, just put instead of the detergent, just the vinegar and hot water and run the clothes. And then next, put 1 cup of the baking soda, hot water and run and then put it dryer. Never gonna smell it again. So it takes off all the smell and the thing, whatever is there, and it's and they're fluffy. They're back to normal again. And I did it, and maybe like year later you need to do it again, but it lasts so long, so it's very good. So 1 cup of vinegar and 1 cup of baking soda with the hot water, run it, and you don't need to put detergent 2 separate times. So that's something about vinegar and soda.
Together, you'll have fuzz. All over the place.
Yeah. First it's vinegar and then it's soda. And actually vinegar and soda, if you wash your sink or anything else like that, it's clean up so beautiful and perfect, and you don't need any chemicals to.
Okay, I'm going to sit, I think. And yes, so I'm very excited. Thank you for having me. Not that you got to take a vote about it, but thank you for not running out when you saw that it was me. I'm cold, so I'm drinking tea. Okay, so I don't have a message. I have a talk, okay? So I'm going to talk to you guys tonight and please, I was sitting last week, 2 weeks ago, and I was totally getting a crick in my neck, like turning, so I sat right back there. So please be comfortable. Like if it's not, just go move to where you need to move to be comfortable, okay? So I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to you if we were out for coffee, because we need to do that with each other. There's like something that used to go on that doesn't go on anymore, and it's sad, and we need each other. So that's what I'm going to talk. So I'm just going to start. I have to confess. I'm 49 and 5 months, so like things are not in order anymore, okay? They're like shooting off all over the place. So if I rabbit trail, just go with me, okay? Yeah, Becky will okay. So we'll see where it goes. So I'm excited. All right, so I'm just gonna talk about where I am right now and what I'm learning. So I love preachers that do that. I love preachers that just preach from like what they're in their own personal time, that they're not like studying, this is what I'm going to bring. This just like I'm going to bring to you like where I am. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm watching Netflix, and I'm watching this show. Yeah, no judgment here. I'm watching this show about chefs, and these amazing chefs all over the world, and some of them have Michelin stars, and the creativity is like off the charts. I mean, I couldn't even describe to you like what kind of creations they're making. Like this guy I'm going to try. He like had his time in the forest, like he made a dessert. Like this is my time in the forest, and it was incredible and edible. Hey, incredible edible. It was just amazing. So anyway, I'm watching it and I'm like, God, why? Like none of these people seem saved. I mean, I don't know their hearts, but there wasn't anybody that was overtly like, Jesus gave me this idea. So why is it that it seems like the unsaved people are the ones that have all the great ideas? They're the ones that are like the trendsetters. They're the ones that are doing everything. They're artists and they're musicians, and they create these beautiful things and these beautiful dishes. Where are the saved people? Because you know that these ideas, they're coming from Him. Like they're not coming from the enemy, they're not coming from ourselves, they're God-given. So it can't just be that the unsaved people have them. So I got to thinking, okay, what's the problem? And another thing, I have it on my note here, I'm preaching to myself, okay? So I'm talking to myself first and foremost. Okay, so where are the Christians? So are we afraid? Is that why the unsaved people are out there and we're not? Because we've got to have as many good ideas as the unsaved people. So if we are afraid to step out, why? Are we afraid that we're going to step out in error,
Do we have this, like, we've read the scriptures and they're in our brains and we're so afraid that we're going to be deceived, that in the end times people are going to be led astray. In the end times, they're going to want messages to tickle their ears. In the end times, if the Lord doesn't return, even the elect would be carried away. So is that just like crippling us? And we're like, okay, we gotta hang back. We gotta stay in our little box of what we know to be true, what's okay and what's not okay. And this is what I know of God, and I'm safe here. But if I step out and I follow something into like a secular arena. So, okay. Yes. So that's all, this is all that's going on my brain as I'm watching these Netflix. And I'm really like getting, like, I'm serious upset. Like, I'm blown away, but I'm upset at the same time. So, take my daughter out to Sweet Melissa in Lebanon, which, by the way, Sweet Melissa, you all got to go. It's amazing. But don't go when I'm there, and don't eat the chocolate croissants because they're my favorite. So, I'm taking my daughter out for breakfast. I'm in the parking lot. I'm getting into my car, and I hear, Kelly Billing. So I like get out, and here it's Danielle Schmidt, my friend from California, who I have not laid eyes on in 5 years. The last time we were out there was 2013. Haven't seen her in 5 years, and here she's standing in Sweet Melissa's, and I almost missed her because we were getting in the car. So talks really fast. She's like, "Oh, I'm just here for 2 days. I'm here for a reunion at Nyack, and I just asked the Lord, I want to see Kelly Billing." And she's like, "And here you are." I'm like, "Yes, I knew that was going to happen today." So anyway, we wound up having dinner. So I love how the Lord, like, you know how he just dovetails what you're learning and you're like hearing it everywhere in like different sources and from different people, and it's like totally. So she starts talking about TED Talks. Can you please raise your hand if you have ever heard of a TED Talk? Oh my gosh, why did you people not tell me about TED Talks? I had no idea. So Danielle's like talking about that. I was watching this TED. I'm like, what's a TED Talk? And Sandy Alarcon was there too. It was like double the shame because she's like, what? It's like, listen, I was a homeschool mom. I don't know about TED Talks. So TED Talks are awesome. People, if you don't know, get on YouTube and watch them because they're just amazing stuff on there. And then she's like, Brene Brown, Dr. Brene Brown. Who's heard of Brene Brown? Lots of people. Okay, not as much as the TED. I didn't hear of her either. So anyway, so I start kind of going on my own little trek, like, let's figure this out. What's the deal? So I start researching Brene Brown because I felt like the Lord really made that connection with Danielle from California and to bring me to TED Talk and Brene Brown, or Brene. So Brene has a TED Talk about shame and vulnerability. And her talk is the number 4 most watched talk of all the TED Talks. Okay, so she is a shame and vulnerability researcher. She's got her PhD in psychology. She's pretty amazing. So, sorry. This is just because I'm cold, not because I'm thirsty. So she has a lot of research. So I've been listening and reading and kind of getting up on what she has to say. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Brene, Brene. Brene Brown, Dr. Brene Brown. So as I'm talking, I'm going to lay out a little bit of her research, and then we're kind of going to unpack it on the other side of it. So listen for where you hear truth. Like I really enjoy listening to unsaved people to find the Jesus in them that they don't even know that they have. And I don't know if she has Jesus or not. She knows, but. So I'm listening to all of her information. I'm going, this is amazing. This is like really scriptural. And I love when that happens because we know that the Bible is truth and scientists think that they're figuring it out when it's already been figured out. But anyway, okay. So, and I do want to just mention this. When you sit on this side of things and you hear someone, you need to decide for yourself what you're hearing, whether it resonates or not. So chew up the meat and spit out the bones, okay? Like if something I say like, that doesn't, just, okay? Because that's what we're supposed to do scripturally. Natalie's spitting already. She's spitting already. Oh, she's teaching how. Okay. So me personally, and I think Graham Cook really sort of helped me out with this. I really don't see like a line between spiritual and secular. And I definitely did. and I don't anymore. So, and that's because I have Jesus. I carry the kingdom. I carry his presence. I am born again. I'm a new creation. So wherever I go, he goes. Now, I'm not going to, do something stupid, but like where I go, he goes. So I don't really see that line. All right, so Renee's got thousands of pieces of data, and we're just going to look at what she's figured out for right now. Okay, so starting off with a bang, in American history right now, we are the most in debt, obese, addicted, and medicated people ever in our entire history. Okay, so why is that? Why are we overeating? Why are we overspending? Why are we medicating with whatever, I can't take it, give me a Xanax? Why are we addicted to whatever we're addicted to? We're trying to numb something. Like, let's just numb it. But numbing doesn't work for only specific things that we want to numb. If we numb everything. So we're numbing pain, and we're numbing joy, and we're numbing peace, and we're numbing connection. We're numbing it all. And so this is kind of about vulnerability, and I will be vulnerable. Antidepressants, and they numbed me, and they numbed all of me, and they didn't really numb the pain. I still felt the pain very acutely, but I was able to not cry all the time. So that was really the only benefit of it. So just my own personal experience with that. So could it be that this is the state that we're in, which is extremely sad, that there is a shocking lack of connection? So we're kind of all on our own, and we have this thing which is supposedly keeping us connected, but it is the devil, totally. That's in my opinion. So it's a false connection, which we all know this, and yet we're still so connected to it. So like, oh, my friend in California or whatever, we can talk on Facebook. Well, yeah, but that's not really what we do. We spend it talking to people that we see. Instead of seeing them, we do this. So this is really like a false connection, and we need to, at the very least, be aware of it, and at best, try and bring it down a little bit. Children, teenagers. For my grandchildren's sake, please bring it down. Okay, I'm looking at my child. So it's a false connection. Everybody out there is hustling for worthiness. And everybody experiences shame, which is what she really researches. So everybody has shame. Nobody talks about it. And the less you talk about it, the more you probably have, according to Brené Brown, all right? Shame runs two tracks. You're not good enough, and who do you think you are? So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to step out there. Oh, wait a second. You never finished your degree. Yeah, you were pretty short with your daughter today, so maybe you should just take it back. Your house is a disaster and your laundry's piled up, so maybe you need to just get your act together before you start and tackle this. Yep, you need to really spend a whole lot more time in the Bible before you start going for this. All of those kinds of things can completely chop us off at the knees and bring us back in. Or if we kind of are able to silence that and we say, nope, I can do this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm going for it. Oh, really? Who do you think you are? Really? Oh, you've just got it all together, I guess, then, huh? Yeah, well, that sounds a lot like pride to me, sister. So you better just, are you trying to present yourself? Are you trying to push yourself forward? No, you better bring it back. Let someone else push you forward. You've really got a problem. So either way, we're not moving forward. So we know that who's talking with that, and it's shame. So, I'm going to try not to say but it just happens. Dr. Brown says we cannot get rid of shame. I don't agree with that. So there are people that she says who have a shame resistance. Ooh, who are those people? These people are people that have a sense of worthiness. There's a word, worthy. These people are authentic. They have a sense of love and belonging. And they have a resilient spirit. So I'm listening. I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty good. They believe, and here's like the cling, clang, They believe they are worthy of love and belonging, but without any prerequisites. So they're worthy of it with the laundry piled up. They're still worthy of love and belonging if they haven't gotten their degree. They're still worthy of love and belonging if they yelled at their daughter. It doesn't matter. They are worthy of love and belonging because of who they are, not of what they've done. And the difference between guilt and shame, and guilt kind of, in our like circles, guilt has a bad connotation to it. So let's just change it to conviction, because that sounds better and more spiritual, which is what we're after, sounding more spiritual. Shame says, I am a bad person. Guilt or conviction says, I've done something bad. So there's a vast difference. And they've studied children, and I'm jumping ahead of my notes, but I'm trying to go a little bit fast. So they've done studies on children in 3rd grade and in 12th grade to find out whether they are having guilt or whether they're having shame. And the children that experience shame, they are the ones that are violent. They're addicted to drugs. They're suicidal. They're the ones involved in bullying. They're the ones that are depressed. They're the ones that have eating disorders. And they're the ones that are having dangerous sexual encounters, the ones that have shame. The ones that have a sense of guilt or conviction, they finish school. They apply to college. They don't do drugs. So there's a vast difference between, yeah, I did something wrong, I messed up, I'm sorry, to like, I am a failure. I'm not any good. So it really is something that we need to get a handle of. She also says that there is kind of this underlying, overarching sense of scarcity in our culture. There's not enough. We're not enough. We're not thin enough. We're not smart enough. We don't have enough. My house isn't pretty enough. I don't match with the Pottery Barn catalog every month. Like, we just don't have. And all these images that are flashing at us constantly are just constantly telling us you're not enough. So that's another thing that was like red flag waving. Okay, wait a minute. That's lack, and we're not. I know the book of Psalms, and that's not right. So that's what's being presented to us, and we're buying into it. Okay, so, yeah, I'm not going to say that. All right, we did that one. All right, so courage is the key. Courage actually, courage means telling your story with your whole heart. The actual definition of the word courage comes from the word cur, which means telling your story with your whole heart. So who in this room would say that me being vulnerable up here is a sign of weakness? No. What's that? No. Yeah, me being vulnerable, that's a sign of weakness. You would consider that weakness, someone being vulnerable. Okay, so if I were to ask you, if I asked you to be vulnerable, would you consider that a sign of weakness in yourself, being vulnerable with someone? No? All right, we're so ahead of the game. This is great. People want to see vulnerability. When we talk to people and we interact with them, we want to see vulnerability because it makes them authentic. We're seeing the real them. But that is the thing that we hide or hang on to the most with ourselves. So we're trying to keep it, just put on this persona that I've got it together and I'm okay. But from you, I really want to know how you're doing, but not with me. Like, just, so we need to be aware of that. But nobody raised their hand in here, so we're good. So that's awesome. So telling your story with your whole heart is literally the definition of courage. And so this is basically her research. There's a whole lot more. She's super interesting. She's really cute to listen to. She's a little colorful from time to time with her language, but you know. All right, so us as believers, what gives? Like, how do we break out of this research that she's finding and be different, okay? The question is that I have written down here, and this is where it gets weird because I really don't know where the Lord's gonna go because I had like the worst time. I have so many notes and everything's like so discombobulated. So we'll just see like where it goes. But is God a man that he should lie? Okay, so does he think that we're worthy? If it boils down to worthiness, and this is 12 years. Like, this is what she does for a living, 12 years. She studied this, and she says it boils down, shame is due to we're feeling unworthy. Okay, so does God say that we're worthy of love and belonging? Yes. This is very interactive, so please shout it out. How does he say that to us? The cross. Yes. Okay. So when we carry shame around and we say, no, I'm not worthy actually, and I'm saved and you've forgiven me 100% and I'm moving on and that old person is dead, that's been crucified with you and this new man is alive now, but I still have, that's coming back from time to time and I need to pay my dues with that a little bit more. Are we calling God a liar then? We are. All right. So the gospel is the key to this. And the gospel is so much more than I prayed a prayer and I'm going to heaven, which I'm coming to understand because when I was 5, I prayed a prayer so I could go to heaven. And I was aware that I was a sinner, and I was made aware that Jesus died for my sin, and I was aware of it at 5, which is pretty funny, because I was an excellent child, but I still was aware that I was sinful. So no one ever told me that Jesus came because I was worth him coming. They told me that he came because he loved me to get rid of my sin. But that made me feel like I'm so sorry. You had to come and you had to go through that because I'm a sinner. And I made you do that. I know that you understand me, or that you love me so much, but I don't know how to pay you back. Like I felt like I owed him. So my whole walk was, I'm going to try and do what's right. I'm going to try and follow this book because I owe you. And I'm going to try and make it up to you so that your sacrifice was, you feel better about it. I'm coming to understand that the gospel is not so much about that's like a bonus. Us going to heaven is a bonus. Because truthfully, if you think about it, if that's what the gospel is, if it's you get saved so that you can go to heaven when you die, then how come we don't die as soon as we get saved? Right? I mean, what are we here for if that's really the end goal? If that's the pinnacle of life in Jesus is we're going to heaven. And I mean, I can't wait to go, and I have lots of people there, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I am not going to live this life like, how much longer do I have before I get there? No, there is something more. He didn't go through what he went through just to get me to heaven. So what did he go through for? All right. In the garden, back in the garden, and I think it's really interesting that shame has gone all the way back to the garden because as soon as they ate the fruit, boom, shakalaka, came the shame. So they were hiding from the Lord. They're sewing leaves together. They are just full of it. So it's an ancient thing that we're dealing with. But Jesus dealt with it. He paid the price. So he made us a certain way. He made us in his image and in his likeness. And after we ate the fruit, we were so distorted. We didn't look anything like he intended us to look. We were completely altered. Jesus comes, and he got completely altered for us. There's always the exchange. Whatever he did, it's an exchange for something that we lost. So we lost our created value in the garden. We became sinners, and we were going to die. So Jesus came. I know you know the scriptures. Isaiah 52, he was marred more than any man. His visage was marred more than any man. He didn't even look like a person when they were done with him. So we got marred by sin in the garden where we didn't look anything like what he created us to look like. So the exchange had to be where he wound up not looking like a human to cover. That's how that's how different the garden made us, the sin. It wasn't just, we didn't look anything like that we were created to look. So Jesus came. Jesus came to restore us to our created value. He came because we have value. He didn't come because of sin. I mean, sin had to be dealt with. Yes, absolutely. But only because it got in the way of who he created us to be. Not because he's this God up there that's like, oh, I can't be seeing that. Can't have any of that up here. No, he's not frightened by it. He's like, I can deal with this. I got a plan to deal with this. So he wants us to live now, this huge price that he paid. And when we just make it a prayer to go to heaven, we downgrade what he did, because he gave us life to live here for him in victory, a new creation without this stuff on us. Okay. By the way, I just have to say, it's like the coolest thing. All right. So why I think about weird stuff, but why didn't he die? Like, how did he get beaten so badly? And seriously, I used to not, like, Becky knows we've been friends for so long. I used to, like, Easter time for like 6 weeks, I was I couldn't stop crying. It was awful. Like, I hated Easter so much because it just wrecked me. And then Pastor Troy always used to be like, yeah, there was like whip with these barbs. And he would just go into, and I would sit there like physically ill. Like, I cannot take this. Like, it's too much for me. But why didn't he die? Like, you cut an artery and you bleed out in I don't even know how many minutes, not very many. So he was stripped. It was just not, the Bible says he wasn't recognizable, okay? So he made it, he carried the cross, he walked. My father's walked that walk. How many people have walked that walk? It's like he said it's uphill the whole way, and it's a really long way. And he made it at least halfway before Joseph came and carried the cross the rest of the way for him. So he gets there, they put him on the cross, there's something to nail the cross. And he's still alive, okay? I have to stand up. He couldn't die because, why not? How are we all different from Jesus? We were all born into sin. Jesus was sinless, okay? The wages of sin is, he couldn't die until God said, okay, I'm putting all the sin on you. All of it is on you. As soon as that happened, then he could die, because then he became the curse. But up until then, he's still breathing because he cannot die because he's perfect and sinless. So it wasn't until the Father said, all right, it's all on you. You are the curse. You've paid it all. And do you remember that horrible, which used to like give me nightmares as a kid, that story of the snakes with the children of Israel? Like, all these snakes are biting them and they're all dying. And like, how long does it take exactly to melt some bronze form? I mean, like, how long does that take in ancient whatever? Like, I'm sure it took some time. And meanwhile, all these people are still getting bitten and dying. But anyway, God tells Moses, make a pole, put a snake on it and hold it up. And when the people look, and that was when they were holding him up because his arms were tired, right? They had Hur and Aaron on either side holding him up so that the people could look up and see the snake. Well, they're looking up at a snake. The snake is the very thing that's biting them and killing them in the desert. Why am I looking at a snake? Anything that hangs on a pole is cursed. They know that this is Hebrew whatever word, So they know this. So they look at that snake and they see that God's got it on a pole. It is cursed. It is not hurting me anymore. You are cursed. So it was symbolic of, as long as when you see that, I'm taking, the curse is not going to hurt you. I'm taking the curse. It's up on the pole. The snake is cursed. It's dead and done and you're healed. So that's just a picture of Jesus. All of the sin of the world got put on him and he became the curse for us, and we know this. And so anyway, that is amazing to me that because it really did bother me. How is it that he didn't die if he was so a mess where he wasn't even recognizable? How did he even make it to the cross? Well, he made it, and when God put all of our sin on him, then he died, okay? And he rose again 3 days later. So, yay. Yes, really big part of the story. All right, so, okay. So I said that, I did say that, I'm sorry. Yes, and all right, so we need to walk in the truth of who we are. There is no room for shame in the Christian's life. There really isn't. And we've got tools to deal with that. And really, the main tool to deal with that is we need to be careful what we let run around in here. All right? So we need to take our thoughts captive. And truthfully, taking your thoughts captive is the highest form of spiritual warfare. And I could tell you why, but I don't remember right now. But I definitely know that that's true. I will get back to you on that one. But it's really good. Yeah, it's Stephen Wendy Backlund, and I can't, it's just out of my brain at the moment of why it is, but it is, and it's amazing. All right, so it's been dealt with once and for all, and we need to just embrace that and thank the Lord. And when that tape plays and when you hear that, you need to shut it down and be like, you know what? No, that is not who I am. And yeah, maybe I have not finished my degree. Have you? Okay, I don't have a degree. I never even went one day to college. Okay, there it is. Look at Anessa. She's gasping over there. Okay, so that's a little bit of like it is. It's like a little like with me, like I'm disqualified because and my children like to remind me of that. Thank you very much, since they're college girls. But we can shut it down. And I find it very interesting that you guys all like up here, I don't know if you remember the beginning part of this night, but it was all like really in tune with what I'm talking about, which is so cool. Exactly what you said, because Sue, you said shame. You totally said shame and vulnerability. You said something, what you got up and said, yeah, that was awesome. And Natalie, you said something too. It was really cool. So that's fun. I don't remember what Natalie said, something good. It was something good. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to take one more drink and then we're going to wrap it up. Oh, I know what I want to do. Oh, okay. I'm so glad I remembered. This is so good. Okay, first of all, I was supposed to do this first, and I even wrote it on my very first index card, but I didn't see it. Okay, this is from my dad's new wife, who's just really lovely. And my dad only has a new wife because my mom died, so, which is very sad. Where is she? Her name is Jane. Her name is not Jane. Her name is Joan. They've only been married for a year. Give me a break. You know what? I just saw you, Joan. That's why. I just passed by and saw Joan. That's why I said Joan. No, I know, but I said Joan. Oh, her name is Joan. Oh, my gosh. See what I'm saying? Okay. All right. I told you. It's bad. Okay, listen. All right. This is a text from Joan this morning. Okay. We prayed for you this morning. As we did, I was reminded that sundown, she's not Jewish, but she's like so down with all the she knows all about Jewish stuff. As I did, I was reminded that sundown today is the beginning of the 9th month on the Hebrew calendar. It is called Kislev and is associated with the tribe of Benjamin, the only son who was born in the promised land. Nice. This is the month to trust God for your future and to remember that it is the month that God put the rainbow in the sky to make a covenant with Noah. We bless you as you share the heart of God with the ladies at your church. So, cool. So that's for all of us. A huge. Okay, so I have one more thing to say, and I'm so sorry. I really wanted to end at 8:30, but it was good stuff. Okay, I have to read you this thing. This is, you just have to listen to Brene Brown, at least one of her talks, because she's just super funny and really, and as long as you listen to it with where you're, what, Debbie? Well, yeah, with that, where you're pulling out the truth from it, because she's got some wisdom. So as far as being vulnerable, which I don't even think I said the word vulnerable, but the gist of this whole talk is that we need connection with each other, and we need to be okay to tell each other who we really are and to show each other who we really are. And if shame is the thing that's preventing us from doing that, which is what her research shows, then we need to really kick that in the teeth and not walk in that. And I think from the questions I've asked, we're all pretty good with that, because we know our worthiness. And the people that have a sense of worthiness are the ones that really don't struggle with shame And also the sociopaths don't struggle with shame because they have no sense. But we're not sociopaths. We're not. It's Jesus. Okay. Okay. So, and we're going to do, which is something I'm going to talk about like later on, but we're going to change that board out there in that extra room, and it's going to be a vision board, because I feel like without a vision that people perish. And so to kind of like get going with this, like, it's okay to step out. Like, we've got dreams, we've got things to do, and we can't hold back, and we can't be shy, and we can't be afraid to step out like, oof. So we're just going to go for that. So I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit later. But to end this, I want to read a speech, part of a speech, not a whole speech, don't get worried, from Theodore Roosevelt that was spoken in Paris. So it's got to be awesome if he said it in Paris on April 23rd, 1910. And it's known as the Man in the Arena speech. And Nicole is shaking her head. Okay. Nodding. She's nodding. So this is who we are, okay? It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. But there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who also does strive to do the deeds, and who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So we are the ones in the arena. And truthfully, if you're not in the arena, you better zip it, okay? So the critics have got no thing to stand on if they're not actually getting dirty themselves, okay? So we're in this together. We're all in the arena. We're all going to step forward. We're going to take that risk in whatever it looks like. I mean, it could be like, I am going to go up to that person and pray for them. Jesus, help me. Or it could be, I am going to go audition for America's Got Talent. I mean, it could be anywhere on this thing, just doing what he's placed in us to do. And I don't know that whole desires of your heart scripture. I don't know if that means that God actually puts the desires in our heart, or if the desires are in our heart and he gives them to us. But either way, it's a good deal. So we need to really get honest with ourselves. And I could talk forever, but I won't. So let's just be the man in the arena who's getting dirty and going for it and taking risks and being honest and vulnerable with each other and helping each other. And we're going to look different to the world, and they're going to see a change. Like our girls said, wait, what? There's no catch? You're just sitting here giving us a donut? So, yeah. Okay. So that's all I have. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to pray and be dismissed. And you guys are going to drive safely in the rain. And thank you so much for coming out. It's such a cold, yucky night, so I hope everybody had a good time. All right, Jesus, we love you, and we thank you, and we bless your name, and we thank you for all the good things that you have in your word and how we can never, ever, 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 ever get to the bottom of it, and that you keep showing us new things. And we thank you, God, that you are with us wherever we go, that you've got a plan and a purpose for each one of us, that Jeremiah 29:11 is each one of our verses. And we just ask that you would fill us with courage, that we would stand in the truth of who we really are in you and what you've paid for us to have and to be and to do. So we ask for supernatural courage. We just shut down the voice of shame right now in Jesus' name. We ask for just an awakening, that our ears would be in tune, that we would hear those little things that sound true, but that they're really not true, and that we'd be able to recognize them and shoot them down immediately, that our thoughts would be taken captive into the obedience of you, Lord Jesus, and we would be really diligent about what we let run around in our brains. So we give you honor and glory tonight, and we just thank you so much for what you've paid for us to have. keep showing us what it is, keep showing us what it looks like. Help us to be truthful and vulnerable and honest and connected with one another. Help us to put our phones down. And we just bless every single one of these ladies here with health and strength and with safety going home. And we just bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. And animals must stay in the field.
Yes, amen. So, what do you think about that? Wow, good job. It was talk while you were sitting. When you stood up, you started preaching, girl. It was not a talk. She keeps saying to me, I'm not going to preach, I'm going to talk. I'm like, okay, keep talking. And then So thank you for coming in. And make sure that you put your name on the list for the Christmas party. And if you want to bring your friend, bring it with you, but make sure that you put it there. And it's going to be a fun time together celebrating. And in January, we have a second Friday in January, we're going to meet again. So make sure that you put this in your calendar, and it's going to be another fun thing. No, they're going to put till the 25th, till November, you need to put how many people are coming, because we need to know for the dinner, yes. And if you have any prayer needs, so we're going to have people here who can pray for you. And if you want to help us, give us a hand or two, you can do two. Be blessed. We love you.